This is Building Giig, the devlog series that follows me day to day as I attempt to build recruitment software to compete with the Goliaths of the industry. Right, so this week's actually looking pretty clear for once. Start Monday, and the only thing really that's on the plate is to make progress on CV formatter, which is good. So that basically means we're just going to go full steam ahead from where we left off on Friday. I want to make it so that the CV is editable, or at least like when you make changes to the candidate, it automatically and instantly makes those changes to the CV as well, so that you get that like instant feedback that something's changing. This week as well, I want to tackle how do we save it as PDFs, so that it can be downloaded and so that it can be attached to emails, things like that, and also like improve what it looks like. Obviously we know it looks like absolute arse at the moment, so how do we lay everything out so that all the controls are nicely labeled, all of them are laid out so that you know what you're changing, things like that. Like at the moment it's not usable at all. Like even when I did a demo to Luke on Friday, I was like clicking around and I was like, hey, this drop down's gonna change the font size here, and then it changes the font size somewhere else, and I'm like, oh yeah, because the layout's all crap. Like even I didn't know what controls did what. So even though I'm confident all the controls do what they're supposed to do, it's laid out like arse, and as a result it's impossible to use. So that's kind of tasks basically for this week. We've got to make some good progress. I've put like an arbitrary finish date of 2 weeks on this, so we've really got to knuckle down. I said yesterday about how it looked like I had a pretty clear week and I was going to have a pretty good run at CV formatting task that was supposed to be doing, and then that completely got blown out the window this morning when I came in. So it's now lunchtime on Tuesday, and I've not made any progress on that today so far. It basically started with an issue with our search feature, and when I've kind of dug into it a little bit, because we did a lot of testing on the searching when I made the update to the searching, so it was a bit weird to see that come through. But when I dug into it a little bit, it was search terms that were less than 3 characters. So if you're searching for something like IT or HR, something like that, which is just 2 characters, then the search was breaking, and it's just not something that we caught in testing. So I've basically spent all morning on that issue, trying to work out why 2 letters weren't working, and I finally got to the bottom of it. I've run a couple of tests myself. It will now go back through the testing loop, go over to Luke to have a play around as well. But it's just funny how I said yesterday it was a pretty clear week so far, and kind of that changed overnight. The other thing is that Luke and Andy both had inundated with calls and stuff today, which is great. They've been busy and stuff, but that means I've been the one picking up live support chats, and that's been going mental as well. So that's broken up my morning like crazy. We, as a group, have live chat on our platform, which is great because we get like instant feedback from people, and we kind of get like bugs reported to us and things like that. Amazing kind of feedback loop that we have, but it just breaks up the day so much. Like I'm midway through concentrating on this search bug, which today, and then kind of like 3 chats pop in at the same time, and now you can't concentrate on either of those things. But that's kind of the reality of the role. Is we're a team of 3. The other 2 are busy. I've got to jump on support chat, and that's kind of what you've got to do. You've got to wear multiple hats. But it's just frustrating because I just can't. Like, I need to concentrate on one thing to get it done quickly, I mean that doesn't always happen. But I struggled to find the time to kind of get in the flow to find the issue with the search, because the live chats kept popping in. Like literally, as soon as I finish one live chat, I go back to the search and I start thinking about it again, get back into where I was, and then another live chat pops in, and broke it up so much. So anyway, that's a quick update on how things change really quick. I'm going to take a bit of a break. My voice is coming down with a cold or something, but I'm going to take a quick break, and then hopefully live chat calms down for the afternoon and I can make some progress, and then I'll come back with an update with the things I've been changing on that, and I can show you those. So we shall see. Right, end of Tuesday, and despite the setbacks we had this morning with the search bug and things like that, actually got to where I wanted to get to by this point. I mean, like, when I stopped for lunch, I then said, like, hey, this is the point in the function in which I want to get to before the end of play, and I finally got there. So I mean, I'll walk you through what I've done. Essentially, this is on the candidates, so we called this the candidate card. This is all the candidates' information, and then down here we have the person's summary, their past experience, education, and certificates. Now, previously, this stuff was not editable. It was like, once you passed the CV in, it would put this information in here, and you weren't able to edit it or add new information. And the only way to update that information would be to re-upload a new CV, reparse that data, and then it would update the summary and obviously all the experience and stuff. So although it's a little bit of a sidestep, in order to get everything editable for our formatted CVs, I then had to make these fields editable. So I've had to change the structure of like the summary field, so now this is typable. It resizes as you type, but it's just a plain text area really. And as you can see, as you type, like the save bar comes in at the top. And then this bit was a little bit trickier because I wanted to focus on the functionality of it. But essentially, we have these 3 sections. Each of them needed a plus. And when I click the plus, it adds a new box in. It allows me to fill in a new bunch of experience. Obviously, I've just put in some trash data here. And then when I save, you can see that now this has changed to experience of 3. That trash data I put in there is there. And the changes I've made to the summary is up there as well. And then, I mean, like, if I go, I add this like little cross as well. So if I click that, you get, are you sure? Yes. Delete. So there's the couple of functions. I had to make those editable, had to make each of the sections add new. So like education, add new, certificate, add new. And then each of them as well needed the ability to remove the certificate, the education, and the past experience. And then that will transform into, so if I just put in some random education and hit save, we now have 2 education, and then when we come into the format CV, that random education is now visible there. So there was a necessary sidestep so that information is editable. Without that, people would have been questioning, how do I edit the summary? How do I edit education and things like that for these formatted CVs that I'm going to put my brand and my name on. So it was an essential step in order to progress. So now we've got that far, we can kind of go full steam ahead with the rest of it. But like I said, it was a necessary side step for me. Update for Wednesday then. It's been a bit crazy morning so far, and we're now midway through the afternoon, and I've kind of been left on my own. The other guys have gone to the recruitment expo in Birmingham, so I've kind of been manning the fort, and live chat's been going crazy. And I think I mentioned in the video maybe yesterday that you just kind of have to wear that hat sometimes. So I'm kind of support agent at the moment, mainly, which is taking a lot of time away from what I want to be doing or I need to be doing. But that's the reality of a small team, and you pull your weight where it's needed at different times. So that's taking up a good chunk of the morning. As with a lot of these things, I talk a lot about bugs and things. I started the day with a couple of emails that come in overnight that needed to be addressed. It's funny how when you discover a bug, or when one person discovers a bug, like yesterday it was the 2-character searching issue, then overnight like 3 additional people found it as well. So all in all, like, even though I made the changes yesterday, they're going through our like testing loop, if you like. It's now like there's a bunch more people that have found that exact same bug. But there was one other thing that was to do with search or ordering on a table, where ordering by company name on a contact table wasn't working correctly, and that was kind of the big thing today, where they weren't ordering in alphabetical order, A to Z or Z to A, depending on which way you wanted to look at it. So that had to be done. And then I was able to, in between kind of live chats and things like that, I've been able to make some progress on the formatter. I just showed you yesterday how I finished off the day with the info screen being editable, and then today I've now added a branded and a redacted version. So I mean, at the moment, if I just click redacted, you can see it kind of gets rid of some information that perhaps you don't want on a CV that you're just sending out to people. So like if I turn branded on again, you can see there's a heck of a lot more information. And then as part of that, I actually added a few more controls. So in the layout, in the display options, I've now added like certificate issuer. So that's like this bit. I just thought that maybe you'd want the control to hide a certificate issuer. Let's say it was from a particular university in a particular year, then people might be able to go find who the CV is about. Or like past experience issuer, past experience details. Like all these are new controls, and they just you can see down here, like that hides that information, and then that one hides that information as well. So now that's kind of like how the redacted works. So if you're on branded, you can see these ticks down here are all ticked, and then we go redacted, it kind of like unticks a couple. And then in the process of making that functional, I then decided to put that redacted as an object, and then we can also set those as default controls in the settings as well, so that you'd be able to set like maybe you'd be able to set what you want hidden and visible in a redacted CV and in the branded CV as separate two separate things in the settings, and then when you come to actually click and generate a redacted CV, it just goes for the default controls. So a lot has gone on. I think there's a lot of workarounds to make all that happen, and this is what I was talking about the layers. So now I've built on the redacted layer that built in that additional object that I had to build, and the additional default settings, things like that, and the additional hide options. That's kind of how this is all coming together. Now the next thing for the rest of the day is I'm going to try and work out how to make it look better. I actually don't know this yet, so I doubt much progress is going to be made, but you can see obviously this is quite hideous. These display hide options down the side, relatively poor, but functional. And then I mean this is absolutely horrific at the moment, so I need to work out what to do with that. So that's kind of the task for the rest of the day, basically, is to work out what I want to do with that. And then once that's done, I can then get them into the company settings and start doing default settings, things like that. And then we're kind of well on the way, and then we've only got a couple of steps left to get the PDFs, to get the CVs saved into PDFs, to get them sent in emails, things like that. So getting there slowly. Bit frustrating with like the live chat and things like that that are distracting us. But we keep moving, and progress is progress. Okay, midway through Wednesday. There's not a huge amount to report in this little update video, but I wanted to do a video because I wanted to show kind of the process of putting this together. Like when I the video I did yesterday, the end of yesterday, I was saying about how all these options down the right hand side, I need to find a way to make them look better, and I kind of just wanted to do a quick update on like the process and I suppose my struggles with it a little bit. So if I now show you these options, this is kind of where I've got to. So I put everything into these headers that drop down. So I've grouped all the information together, which I think looks better and is more usable, like just not as many controls on the screen at the same time. But beyond this, it's still a bit of a struggle, and I just wanted to document like how, like, there's a lot of time sink into trying to make these things as usable and as friendly as possible. So this header options is the one I've spent kind of the most time on, and now that I've grouped them together, I kind of am trying to figure out a way to lay out the controls so that they're intuitive. And at the moment I'm kind of on this, obviously the menu item on the left hand side, or the control label on the left hand side with the option to the right, which I think is fine. But then when you get down to something like icon, the icon color, for example, you've got like the background color, the icon color, and then these controls here is the size, so like small, medium, large, extra large. You can see in the blurred out here that they're changing, and then the style, which is at the moment just says style 1, style 2, style 3, and it changes from square to a rounded to a circle. So I still don't think they're that intuitive, and there's kind of a lot of struggle there. But what I don't want is I don't want to give every controller label on its own line like this, because the list will just be horrendously long. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. I'm not happy with where it is. I'm not happy with its usability yet. I'm struggling to kind of get my head around, or I'm struggling to kind of think of a way to make it better. And that's just kind of part of the process. Like, I do this a lot with a lot of our features. Like, we get comments a lot of the time about how easy the platform is to use and how like intuitive things are. So it's always in the back of my mind that these things need to continue through. And obviously, the more controls you give people, the harder that task is. So I'll keep at it. I'm going to try with some icons, so like a background icon, text icon, a size icon, things like that, and see if that makes things a little bit better. But realistically, it's just trial and error from here. I have an idea, I try it, it doesn't work, or it does, and I kind of run with it. So yeah, even though not much progress is made, I thought this quick video just to see that sometimes things just aren't smooth sailing, and there's a lot of brain power that goes into things that get scrapped at the end of the day. So yeah, hopefully I'll come back with another video today with something I'm happy with, maybe a finished product. But that's where we are right now. Okay, so last update for the week then. We've obviously been trying to make as much progress with the CV formatter as possible, and this today I didn't make any. I haven't really touched it at all. The biggest kind of issue I was facing yesterday was how do I lay out that right hand side. The header options, I think, was the block that I was focused on in yesterday's video, and I kind of spent yesterday afternoon playing around with a couple of bits and didn't really get anywhere, didn't make any progress with it. So it was kind of decided that, or I kind of figured that I'll leave it, kind of sleep on it a little bit, and so I slept on it last night. And then when I came in this morning, talking to Luke, getting an update from Luke on a couple of things that have happened over the last couple of days when he's not been in, it was kind of decided that we'd focus on some quick wins, some bug fixes, some issues with different parts of the platform that people are finding. Now, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, but I said that there was a session bug, and I fixed the session bug. And then there was an issue with email connectivity and the process in which that happens as well. I think that was in last week's video. Basically, it kind of is all connected to the session essentially, and a couple of the issues that came in overnight or over the last couple of days to Luke directly kind of stem from that. So they all kind of, for whatever reason, relied on the bug to function correctly on the front end anyway. But now I fixed the bug, it kind of highlights that they're not functioning correctly. And then as we've got lots and lots of people using the platform, and then lots of people reaching out and things, that it's highlighting these issues that we haven't found yet with that session. So fixing the session bug essentially highlighted some issues I had elsewhere in the platform. So long story short, I know I just told you the long story, but I thought, hey, let's actually try and get those ticked off and out of the way today. So that's what I did instead. This is actually where I got to with the layout stuff for CV formatters. So this was at the end of play yesterday. I'm thinking that this little icon with the box around it kind of is like, this is the background color, and then you can see here the T is kind of text color. So that's something I'm going to explore next, but like I said, I'm kind of struggling with the whole thing really. It looks a bit ugly and still not that intuitive. I'm still not sure, but I'm going to persevere with it. I'm going to make at least this header option one with this icons to the side, and then we'll see where we get to. So that's going to be probably a Monday task. I'm going to give it the weekend, give it some thought, see if I can come up with anything nicer. But yeah, I want to move on from it, obviously, but I want to get it right as well. As soon as I've kind of got it right, I can then copy it onto the settings page, turn them into default settings, and then we're kind of well on our way to, like on the last stretch to getting this feature complete. So that's where things are. All in all, today's just been one of those days, just get the bug reports, try and work out what the problem is, try and fix it so that people stop having these issues, and then things we want to do take the back seat. So that's it. That's this week, rounded up basically. Yeah, so if you want to leave a comment, any questions, any thoughts, then please do, and I'll reply to everyone. If you start your comment with "Hey James," then I'll pick it up and I'll reply to it in a video as well. Oh, my throat is going for it now. If you want to catch the guys I work with, that's Luke and Andy. They have a weekly podcast, Giighire Rest podcast, that you can find on your podcast players or on YouTube. And that's it. I think that's the end of week 5 doing this feature that I thought would take 3 weeks initially. But it looks like we might hit the home straight at least next week. And we've taken a lot of sidetracks and a lot of missteps and a lot of bug fixes, and I feel like bug fix a lot. I'd take a shot every time I said bug fix, and I'd be on the floor. So yeah, we'll go again next week, and we'll see where we get to then. Hopefully, a finished product by the end of next week's video.